Thank you, everybody. It's so good to be back. So what does Toastmasters and an astute therapist have in common? They can both tell you a lot about yourself very quickly. I'm on level 2 pathways, and as part of this, you do a quiz to understand your communication style. It gives you 15 questions, and at the end of the 15 questions, it gives you one of 4 different types of communication style. Lo and behold, I'm a very supportive communicator. I want to listen first and see where you're coming from. I like to be comforting and calm. And once I make a decision, I like to stand in that decision and not sway too much. I really embody this in a lot of my life. It really nailed who I am. I'm a very supportive person. I'm very loyal. However, there is one type of communication style I believe Toastmasters has missed. And I think it's actually one of the most important communication styles that you can have. Humor. I think being funny and being witty is one of the most powerful things somebody can be. Let's call a spade here. What I do for work is pretty stupid. I like to say I'm slinging ads every day. For what it's worth, we are building AI agents to optimize and hasten how quickly somebody can create an ad campaign, so that part is kind of cool. However, how I talked about it is pretty stupid, right? You're sitting in a meeting room and there are 2 types of people. There's one type who uses all those buzzwords and they care so much. Typically, these are the really junior employees or the really senior ones. They really care that they're slinging ads. And then there's a second group of people where their video camera off. If they're on video, they're spacing out, they're checking Slack. They don't really believe in what they do. It's kind of like me, perhaps. How you're able to reach those people and bring them in and still appeal to those leaders in the room, some quick wit. Everybody loves a very well-timed joke in a meeting. For example, the other day I was in a meeting with some leads, and before the meeting, everybody's just looking at each other, not saying anything. I believe I asked my manager, I needed an Android phone to do some QA, and we started discussing the different types of phones we had. And I made a joke, something like, I have an iPhone, but I'm really holding out for the Trump phone. To which, and it's not political, right? Like, arguably the Trump phone is funny if you're a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, anywhere on the political spectrum. Like, having a gold phone with a T on it is arguably pretty funny. And somebody else chimed in, I'll pay your $45, $47 a month if you actually get one. And instantly it eased the tension before the meeting. Another example of this is a VP at our company was doing a fireside chat at an onsite, and somebody accidentally dropped their phone in the audience. And everybody looked, right? And to get the attention back to him, the VP also dropped his phone in the QA. He's like, I don't need this either. At first, I didn't really respect, Mr. Brown too much. But how powerful it was for him to be so witty to drop his phone in that meeting and instantly call back the room to attention was pretty powerful. And then I understood why he's VP at Spotify. It's because he's able to use quick wit and jokes to bring everybody in, even if some people weren't paying attention or looking at somebody who dropped their phone. And some people might believe you're either funny or you're not funny. I don't believe that. I believe being funny is a skill. It's about knowing your audience. It's about timing. It's being able to recall some type of history or something you can relate back to that current moment. Being funny is a learned skill. And as part of that learned skill, it's also a risk. Anytime you make a joke, it can totally fall flat. I have been sarcastic in meetings and with engineers. The engineers I work with, A lot of them don't get sarcasm, and it flops so hard, and they think I'm being serious, and I'm 100% being sarcastic. So when you do crack a joke, you're typically taking a risk. However, when you do land a joke, it instantly eases tension in the room, and it's a powerful mechanism to get those people who might not be inclined to be engaged back on your side. Therefore, next time you're in a social setting or in a meeting, I'm going to challenge you to say that joke that's in your head that you don't say and see how it lands. You either can totally flop, or perhaps you will create or ease the tension in perhaps like a really difficult meeting. So, thank you. Back to you. That sounds good.